Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Gamma One Shot. This is a 2013 comic drawn by Ulises Farinas and it's also written by him, but with a writing assist from Erick Freitas. Freitas? Not sure. Never heard of either of these guys before I picked this up. But this is one of the better like dollar bin scores I've ever gotten. Just because it was such a delight to be like just finding a comic that looks so interesting. Never heard of this guy, never saw this artwork before. And the cover was so intriguing. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a chance on this. Look at all these crazy monsters. Just everyone is kind of a very imaginative character design. Pretty cool looking. And I just love how crammed it is. So it kind of reminds me of a more cartoony James Stokoe. Maybe a little less detailed than James Stokoe, because that guy's a maniac. Guys like him and Jeff Darrow, there's so much on in every square inch. But this is pretty damn packed with just fun stuff. Down here we see the hero of the comic, her anti-hero, Dusty, and his little friend Sparky. So I assume there's a Gamma comic. I've never seen it. After reading this, I definitely would like to check out some more issues of this. But this was a one-shot. I assume it worked on me. The purpose was just to introduce people to this world. Because I probably never would have tried out a series called Gamma. I rarely go to the comic store anymore. But this got me into it. Kind of like the design here, the credit page. So we're in this bar somewhere, some other world or whatever, and it seems like it's out in the boonies. And there's a giant sign that says "Punch the Coward, $50." So this guy who looks just like Dum Dum Dugan approaches the bartender, and he hands him $50. This Dum Dum Dugan guy, it looks like he's even wearing a shield patch, except he's in a tank top. So he punches Dusty, the coward, and then he just proceeds to keep punching him. Apparently, this guy's got some rage issues. And the bartender's got to fire off his shotgun to get him to stop, to get his attention. He says, "It looks like you owe me $250. You punched him at least 5 times. And this guy's just so like, fine. And he pays him and runs off. So apparently, this is the beginning of Dusty's workday. This is just what he does for a living. And obviously this guy has got some issues. He's kind of full of self-hatred. As you can see by this art, this guy, Ulises Farinas, a very unique style. I don't know where he's from, but I wonder if he is from Greece or some other country. Because he has this I don't know, just unlike any other cartoonist in America. The way he draws faces, and just interesting. Another customer comes in. Almost every character in here is well designed. They look kind of interesting. So the day continues, and finally he's done with his workday. It's nighttime. He's counting his money that he earned. I like how you see in the background this the bar from outside. It's like, punch the coward, spit on him. And there's almost manga-like sign of him. All cutesy, super deformed style. The first thing he does is go right to the whorehouse. And the woman there who's on her smoke break says, "Jesus, Dusty, you were here this morning." And I haven't read the other gammas. Maybe they fill us in on this. Seems like he's in love with one of these prostitutes because he leaves with hearts bubbling out of his head. And then he proceeds to go home. It turns out he's married. And Of course, his wife is berating him as soon as he gets to the door. She knows what he's been up to. I guess he does it every day. Blows his money at the whorehouse. And he's just totally ignoring her. I like this. How she says, you know what, Dusty? Don't be surprised if I show up at the bar to punch you myself. It seems like a waste of $50, though. She could just punch him for free at home. We just see by Dusty's face, it's like, not only is it physically, just abused, but just the look in his eyes is like, this guy, he's given up completely. He's just a piece of shit. So the next day at work, Dusty's in the middle of his workday, getting the shit kicked out of him. And this woman shows up to the bar. She says, can anyone help me? My husband's been following me town to town, and I need someone to stand up to him. He beats me. And she's got a black eye. So Dusty says, he's supposed to be the biggest coward in the world. He says, I'll do it. And she gives him a big hug, and Dusty looks down at her ample charms, and he's just all like, all right, I might have stumbled into something good here. So he follows her. Once again, little hearts trailing from him. And here's where we find out what the weird world of Gamma is all about. So up until now, this could have just been anywhere, And so apparently in this world, it seems very much like Pokemon. This Dusty, I guess, was the world champ monster trainer at some point. And he has these 6 little trap boxes that hold his 6 monsters. And the husband is there, and he basically says, so you're the one who's going to stand up to me, Dusty, the world failure. So everyone knows who Dusty is. And so I guess each guy is going to pit their monsters against the other guy. They're not going to fight with, fisticuffs or anything. So Dusty summons his monsters. They're just cute as hell. They're adorable. If there was like Sanrio characters or something that would be on Adventure Time, They are pretty amusingly designed, though. But then the husband, he summons his monsters, and look at these. They're way more formidable than Dusty's monsters. And so the husband tells his monsters, wipe them out. And we see this whole page of the husband's monsters just massacring Dusty's monsters. It's pretty gruesome. And basically the husband has a Godzilla kaiju monster, and it uses its atomic breath on Dusty. And basically Dusty's just sitting there. He knows he can't get much lower. And so we see a flashback to when things weren't so bad, when things were more brightly lit. And it's 20 years ago. He was a hero. He was a sex symbol, the greatest monster trainer ever. He's being interviewed. Once again, we see some really fun, amusingly designed monsters. And this is his main guy, Sparky. Actually, I'll tell you later. I can't remember his full title. But this is Sparky, very Pikachu-like. And Dusty keeps telling the reporter, it's the love of the people. That's what allows me to do what I do. I would not have the strength to live without the love of the people. We see an example of some of that love with these 2 scantily clad groupies in Dusty's bed. So everything's going great until one day the monsters start going awry, as monsters are wont to do. It basically becomes this worldwide crisis. I like how, though, for the most part, these monsters are still kind of lovable and cute. Like the mating mushroom monsters are destroying Staten Island, not out of malice. It's just that they're having sex and they're gigantic, so they're kind of crushing Staten Island under them. And the Blue Harbor monster, this cute dinosaur, just fell asleep in a harbor. It doesn't mean any harm, but shipping, all the shipping lanes have been shut down because of this monster. So either way, even though they're awful cute, it's still causing this worldwide crisis. The government is talking about, seizing all monsters and outlawing, these monster tournaments. Yeah, the government wants to take custody of all the monsters. He tells Sparky that he'll never let them take him. And then one night, he gets a knock on his door. It's the government. They basically say, Dusty, we're showing you all this evidence. It's the human race might not be around for next year. We have to fight back. And we want you to lead this army. So Dusty's put in charge. He's the general. And it looks like it's like half monster, half like, Japanese giant robot, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger monster fighters. And we see, and I'm sorry, I was going to say, at first Dusty thinks it's fun. It was going to be fun. He thought, yeah, this should be kind of cool, but it's not. And after 5 years of fighting these monsters, he's completely miserable. It looks like they all are. This good guy army. They've just had their asses handed to them for 5 years because the monsters are spreading and they're winning. So he gets to the point where he's going to shoot himself in the head. And right then, one of these Power Ranger guys, one of his second in commands or whatever, he knocks on the door, opens the door, and says, the monsters have overrun the base. So Dusty runs out with them. There's one last helicopter they're trying to board before the monsters get him. Just in this little panel, there's so many well-designed little monsters here. Some of them looking like ice cream cones. This one looks like a big dog turd with legs. Just kind of funny, goofy designs. And then, as they're about to board the helicopter, Dusty pulls out one of his little pocket things and sucks up the Ranger into it. And kind of just ditches him there. And he ditches his favorite monster, Sparky. He flies off in the helicopter. He says, keep fighting, Sparky. And he looks back, and Sparky gets completely killed by these monsters. These rampaging monsters. These monsters on the prowl. And the newscaster says this will probably be our last broadcast. A lot of people died to bring in this footage, but just want everyone to know that Commander Dusty Cajero left his soldiers to die and betrayed the whole human race. And the last thing she says is, Dusty, you're a coward. So now we find out why people want to pay $50 to punch him in the face. We're back at the present. The husband walks off with his victorious monsters. We see these great inset panels of all of Dusty's monsters. This is completely gruesome. And he's going to kill himself once again. He's threatening to kill himself. He stole the gun from the bartender to do it. And then right then, he looks over and he sees Sparky. But it looks like a very malevolent Sparky. And he's saying, I'm sorry. But he thinks, he's just like, oh my God, I'm seeing ghosts. And Sparky leaps for Dusty. And Dusty blows him away with the shotgun. He's like, I killed my best friend again. So Dusty realizes that Sparky's not quite dead. Grabs him up in his arms and goes home to fix up Sparky. The whole time his wife's yelling at him. She's like, what the hell is this, a thunder rabbit? And I guess Sparky is a thunder jerboa, whatever that is. The wife throws a pan at his head, and right then Sparky wakes up, and he intercepts the pan and saves Dusty's head. So now we see back at the bar. Dusty's there with Sparky, and the bartender says, "Man, where the hell have you been? This guy's waiting for days to punch you in the face." And he says, "I'm not here to get hit anymore. Just wanted to return your gun." So the bartender tells the crowd, he says, "Guys, no punching today. At any price." So, of course, everyone's pissed off. This one guy, though, won't take no for an answer. And so he attacks Dusty. And Sparky defends him and totally fries the guy. You can see him down here. Just a total crisp. And Dusty says, "Hell fucking yeah." So he heads out of the bar. The bartender says, "Where you headed, Dusty?" And he says, "To get laid, bucko." And he walks off into the sunset. And I imagine the rest of his adventures are written about in that Gamma regular comic. There's that weird art style again. I mean, I guess we've seen it throughout the comic, but there's a definite example of it. So I also saw Ulises Farinas. He even did this Catalyst comic for Dark Horse, which was their normal, like, Comics Greatest World Superhero comic, but almost like, Prophet. They wanted to do a radical reboot of Catalyst, make it more like, get independent artists to draw it. So here's a preview of the comic. I have these. They're pretty fun. They're pretty interesting. And that's it for Gamma One Shot. Oh, except for this nicely drawn back cover. Actually, I think that's just the panel from within. So that's it, guys. Still love this cover, though. Fun as hell. So I hope you guys enjoyed looking at this comic. I'm very curious to read more Gamma. This was it definitely did its job, this one shot. And it got me intrigued in this world. And this character. I like this Dusty character. And I like his little friend. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. And I hope to see you next time here at the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.